Good morning. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Lacilia. Hi, Black. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning today. It really is. Oh, I have a full day ahead of me, so today's live is not going to be as long as it normally is, so I'm going to definitely try to cover everything I intended to cover before I hop off of here and get back to doing what it is that I need to do. Good morning to everyone as they come in. Glad to see everybody's presence in the building. There is so much going on right now, like seriously going on, which is mad crazy. Mad crazy. But it is what it is, you know? Hey, Moni. All right, y'all just keep tapping away and I'm going to just go ahead and get into it. So I did something this morning that I do not do. I actually went to 92.3 The Fan that's out of Cleveland and listened to their podcast. Hey, Netta. Okay, girl, busy is the currency right now. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I'm telling y'all, I really am. I'm working to get back to my baseline. I had fallen off for a second, but I'm getting back there. Thank you so much. So this morning, I did something that I normally do not do. I tuned in. Thank you. It is actually the cutest little baby doll tunic dress. It is soft. It feels like a cotton linen blend, and it kind of flares. And I have these cute little espadrilles on with it. I was debating, did I want to go to this round 2 interview in scrubs, or did I want to, I'm like, no, I don't feel like scrubs. So I decided to put on some clothes today. Thank you. Thank you. So I tuned in this morning to 92.3 because Mary Kay Cabot was on there. And the reason I tuned in is because all this week, what's the chunky one's name? Ken, whoever. The larger gentleman that's on there. He's been talking about how, he normally doesn't go with Shedeur, but he's going to go with Shedeur because Shedeur is definitely showing glimmers and yada, yada, yada. And so this morning in the committee chat, Tammy was like, Mary Kay is going to be on The Fan. And I wanted to tune in to see what she was going to say, and if they were going to stand on the things that they were saying complimentary about Shedeur Sanders with her on the phone. Okay. So she gets on the phone and they're talking to her, and from the minute she opened her mouth, you clearly could hear that she was lying, that there was nothing factual about what she said. What I thought was extremely diabolical is that Andrew Berry has been making the interview pressers. He is on the circuit, honey, because everyone wants to talk to him following his amazing draft job. He did a outstanding job at this year's draft. And of course, all of the podcasters and sports analysts and sports shows, they want to talk to him. They want to see, what was the drive behind the choices he made? What does the rebuild look like? And to everyone's chagrin, he's answering questions, but he ain't. Basically, what goes on in Cleveland is staying in Cleveland. What we learned last year is y'all turned us into the laughingstock of the NFL. There was constant back and forth. It divided the locker room. It had our organization in an uproar. And I am so glad that the leadership and coaching staff of the Browns decided this year we're doing something different. One band, one sound. We're not talking about anything. We're not sharing anything. Of course, the loose lips that sink ships, he's in Atlanta. And when she was talking, she's just basically repeating the same thing, trying to just put a little twist on something else. The thing that I pay attention with Mary Kay Cabot is that she does not know fundamental football. Like, she doesn't know how things work in terms of the positions that interweave one another, what is required from one position to another, how they work hand in hand, and how, if certain things are done, they're going to work against it. She speaks in broad strokes, and she regurgitates things that she's either collected from other knowledgeable sports outlets, and then she tries to put her spin on it, and it comes off very, very thin and unauthentic. So there's that. Andrew Berry clearly said that, yes, that is what she's trying to do, Stephanie. Andrew Berry clearly said that there is a competition. Coach Todd said there is no such thing as everybody is going to get equal reps. We do not have an order. There is not, this person definitely goes first today. We're going to look at all of the quarterbacks. Everyone is going to get an opportunity in this competition, because you can't call it a competition if everybody is not competing. So there is that. Good morning, Tiffany. Hey, Miko. Good morning. Good morning. You're absolutely correct. Yes, they are. But the clicks make them money, and it's making them stay relevant, because the old era with Kevin Stefanski and how he was running the organization is gossip, sensationalism, division, and negativity. It sells. It wasn't selling any tickets. It wasn't getting any tickets, but it definitely was keeping Cleveland in everybody's mouth. Well, the organization has decided that's not the direction we want to go in. We are on a rebuild. We have new energy. We've got new blood in the building. We are able to move this team back to its era of greatness, and we don't have to wait years to do it. We have the pieces in place to make that happen. Well, back to Mary Kay Cabot. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to turn on this air because it gets hot in here real fast. So she is on there, and she's going on and on and on about Deshaun Watson. Now, here's the tea, because I'm not going to say anything negative about Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson has been quite pivotal in being there for not just Shedeur, but Dylan as well as when Kenny Pickett was there. He was the QB1 before he got hurt. Okay, so the thing of it is that no one is speaking negative about Deshaun Watson, but the truth of the matter is this: he has not played football in a couple of years. He's been hurt twice. The injury that he has sustained, it has not brought him back to 100%, and we have yet to see if he is on the cusp of maybe we shouldn't do that. As I've mentioned to you before, if I were his wife, and speaking from a nursing perspective, I would never be okay about my husband or my patient who has suffered that type of injury to put himself back out there, because the next time that Achilles is fractured or ruptured, the young man may not even be able to walk. So there is that. With the amount of money that he has been given, yes, it hurts. Of course, you want to redeem your glory days, but is it really worth it? Everybody has their win, and he'll have to figure that out. So there's that on a personal level. So I can't say anything bad about him. Now, some of the things that have occurred with him outside of football, in his private life, as the old people say, it may not be true, but you keep putting yourself in a position for it to even be a conversation. And that's a problem. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I am not going to disqualify with the people who have made the allegations against him. I was not there. What I can tell you is that's a lot of people saying the same thing, different times, and don't know each other. So there's a lot going on in that instance. And as a member of management, as well as the head of the coaching staff, when I am looking at the organization, when I'm looking at the locker room, I have to look at the whole player. I have to look at what they are doing to the energy that's in this locker room, because the quarterback position is so very pivotal in terms of how it is. It is so pivotal as far as how it is going to make or break the direction that your team goes in. The first thing is your team has to be able to believe and want to play with the quarterback. Because everybody will get out there and do their thing, but there's a difference in players getting out there and just doing what they're supposed to do, as opposed to a team that's out there and they are playing together. And this is what happens when you have a quarterback in position that everyone wants to play with. I have yet to see that kind of energy exerted towards Deshaun Watson. I've not seen anyone say anything necessarily bad, but I've also not seen the amount of light and animation that comes from people wanting to play with Shedeur. So there is that. Now, back to Mary Kay Cabot. Her repeating or creating this thing about she heard that Deshaun was doing really, really well and he came out top in the mini camp. That's a bold-faced lie. And I'm just going to say it. That's a bold-faced lie. Because the first thing is, this was a voluntary minicamp. No one had to report. The people that reported to camp did so because they wanted to. And Coach Todd said that he was glad that there were so many players that did choose to participate in the minicamp, but it wasn't required. They didn't have to show up. Now, there's that. In terms of Deshaun being there, I'm going to say something that's probably very mind-blowing for Mary Kay Cabot. I don't know. It's crazy, but here goes. Deshaun Watson should be throwing better than Shedeur. And I'm saying that if you're talking in terms of expectations. He is a veteran football player. He has had the opportunity to play in the league longer than Shedeur. He has had the opportunity to have the higher level development, training, and support that Shedeur is just now receiving. So for him to come out to camp and throw anything less than superior is less about Shedeur's performance and more about confirming why Deshaun really does need to go. So there is that. The next thing is this. Even though I just said that Deshaun, by time and development and training and experience, should perform better, there is an exception to that when you have natural, raw, gifted talent. And the idea that Shedeur Sanders has had to play on every team that he's played for, it has been impaired and subpar in the areas most needed by a quarterback, and he was still able to not only perform, but outperform other quarterbacks who had everything that they needed. Development, training, O-line, facilities, money. So when you say things like, he's not ready, you sound like an ass. He's not ready for what? Because this young man has had the opportunity to start his experience in the absolute worst case scenario. He has always played with a deficient O-line. He was at Jackson State University with subpar facilities and field. When he got to Boulder, that team was at ground zero. It was a complete rebuild. So when you say things like, he's not capable, he can't do this, he doesn't understand that. ¿Cómo se dice no understand? What part is he not understanding? What part didn't he get? See, what this is and what we are watching in real time is Mary Kay Cabot is having a crash out, and she's doing it on her little podcast tour. She is hotter than fish grease. The audacity of that 24-year-old black boy, because that's how she sees him, to get up on that mic and to tell us what we can and can't say in reference to Cleveland football. He just got here. He doesn't have the right to tell us, and we can say whatever we want to say. Well, psych on your mind and make your booty shine. No, you cannot. And he called you out, and he called a thing a thing. He is a member of the Cleveland Browns football team, and their job is to win games, put seats and put people in seats, sell tickets, and ultimately get to the Super Bowl. And he said he's got everything he needs. But the team has a problem with what's going on outside. The people who supposedly love and support the team are saying something completely different. And we're no longer interested in doing that. You say you want us to win, then get on a winning team. Open your mouth and speak life into winning. Stop saying things about us that are not true. Stop continuing this vitriol because that's all you know. Here is a new day. We have new wine. We have a new wine bag. Enjoy the feast. But no, that's not what Mary Kay wants to do. Because she's narcissistic. She is pick-me. She is stuck on Kevin Stefanski. Well, love bug, here is the tea. Space and opportunity. Delta got flights coming in and out of Cleveland all day long, pumpkin, and they serve the most fabulous Biscoff cookies. Get your ass on a plane with your microphones, with your pens, and your little notepad, and carry your ass to Atlanta. Go where you are received. Go where people want to hear this fodder and farkle narkle bull dookie. But do not continue to insult the intelligence of people who have good sense by saying things that are absolutely a lie. And to say so directly following what Andrew Barry said is diabolical. Diabolical. Like, really? He spent all day yesterday and the day before on several podcasts sharing exactly what they were going to do. How is it that the rest of Cleveland and everyone that supports the Cleveland Browns or Judge Shedeur was able to get out of that interview what they wanted to know, and you came out of the interview with Deshaun Watson is looking really good? He's definitely positioned to be QB1. That's what I think Coach Todd to do. And girl, the unmitigated gall for you. You actually mentioned Coach Todd's name? Hold on, y'all. That shot's fired, hon. That shot's fired. Because you mad at him, too, because he shut you down. You the one that went in there acting silly and acting like you've been raised by wolves. He didn't do anything. He just said to you what was the obvious. We're talking about draft, and you keep wanting to talk about the quarterback room. Well, I tell you what, Mary Kay, why don't you suit up and boot up and go and try to be a walk-on? Hell, you and Dylan Gabriel about the same height and same weight. No problems there. You know so much about the quarterback position. You know so much about the quarterback room. Put your money where your mouth is, hon. Because you talking loud and you ain't saying a damn thing. Nothing. These ulterior dimension thoughts and the instance that you insist on making it be true. It's crazy. But I turned off 92.3 Fan because I don't really pay attention to them either. But I want to talk to those two gentlemen there because they, they come off real frat boyish. They peaked in college. the type get to sophomore year, pledge a fraternity, stay in the frat house, get in trouble, get kicked out. Then the grades start to squander. They go do an intern somewhere. Daddy knows somebody, hooks them up. Next thing you know, they're doing an intern at a news station. Time goes on. They get an idea. I should do a podcast. And now you're the news outlet for Cleveland. You don't have the backbone or the balls to stand on anything that you say. You let some Pop-Tart come on your show and you had all that smoke in your chest about what you were standing on, and you didn't stand on shit. She gets on your show and you just walk back everything you say, and you're playing with your little switchboard with all your little fancy sound effects and all that, and you're acting as excited as a 14-year-old who got the cheat code while online with his buddies for Call of Duty. You're a crock. You're a joke. No one takes you serious. You're not credible. ESPN is never going to post up in Cleveland and talk to 92.3 The Fan. You're jokes. They're laughing at you. What I would suggest you do is take your little sponsorship, take it back to school, actually get a journalism degree, or, broadcasting, public speaking, then come back and do your show. Because your day of going back and forth with all of the how Cleveland is not going to do anything, we're bored. We're tired. I ain't even in Cleveland. I've been listening to you for all of 10 minutes and you're boring. You're irrelevant. And the fact that you had all that in your chest, talking about what you was going to stand on. And Mary Kay Cabot came on your show this morning and you walked it back like a bunch of sissy lalas. Yeah. That part. Thank you, beautiful. So Mary Kay, you lied. You lied. There it is. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Yeah, you did. Nobody in the building in Cleveland told you anything. They didn't tell you anything. You made that up. You saw a clip or something, somebody that you like, you're following them and you're regurgitating what you heard and you saw. And for all the rest of the podcasters, content creators, and sports pundits who are going with this narrative, you are liars too. And you're back and forth, you're flip-flopping, you're rage bait inviting titles and captions to your content as well as your YouTube channels and your lives. We are so over it. I can't stand for content creators to create those titles that pull people into their rooms only for you to watch their lives and realize what they're talking about. It has absolutely nothing to do with what they have captioned. But those captions also feed into the narrative. And all of y'all on some straight bullshit. Now, you don't have to like Shedeur Sanders. You don't have to like Andrew Berry or Todd Monken. Hell, you ain't got to like Jerry and Dee Haslam. But here's the gag. Imagine you not liking someone who is the very muse and center of what you are talking about, and it requires you to talk about them to be relevant and gain the notoriety as well as the financial prosperity from the very people you don't like. That's diabolical. You don't like Shedeur, but you keep his name in your mouth like Elijah is trying to clear your throat. You don't like Shedeur, but you continue to post any and everything about him. You sound like a broke down 304 on the track complaining about her IMP. Imagine you out here lying and saying all of the things that Shedeur Sanders ain't, and he and his staff are on YouTube opening birthday presents, Christmas gifts, and well-wish cards from all the other people who looking at you sideways. That's nasty work. But you don't like him. He's not good enough. Well, hun, here's the gag. Coach Todd said he is. Andrew Berry said he is. Dee and Jimmy Haslam said he is. That entire locker room said he is. And I got 250 million other reasons that say, yes, he is. You don't think he's good enough? Well, we're not paying you to think, and neither are the people you work for. You don't think Shedeur is good enough. Shedeur just got to Cleveland a year ago. Deshaun been in Cleveland for 4 years. Ain't nobody building a team around Otis. They decided to build a team following last season. Ooh. Clock it. Andrew Berry moved in stealth behind Shedeur Sanders. When Kevin Stefanski created the issue that got his first injury for Deshaun, nobody went out and rebuilt nothing. Nobody went out and rebuilt a thing. Nobody is lining up, making Instagram posts like Mr. Tate did before the draft, telling Cleveland, I want to come play for Shedeur. Kevin Coleman Jr. didn't tell the world he wants to play and catch from Deshaun Watson. He said, yeah, I want to, yeah, me and two back together again? Yeah, for sure. Them big boys that's on the O-line, they were undrafted free agents. They could have went anywhere. They wanted to come to Cleveland. When Andrew Berry made the call, the phone rang one time. They knew who was on the other end of the line. And they answered, in the words of T.I., most expeditiously. Because they want to be in Cleveland with two. Yeah, they do. Everybody talking about don't nobody want to come to Cleveland. Everybody want to come to Cleveland. Everybody. Not everybody. I said everybody want to come to Cleveland. Last year, the Steelers, Jalen, he wasn't pointing at Deshaun. He wasn't pointing at nobody else but Shedeur, and told Kevin Stefanski to his face, put him in. I want to play against him. And here is the ticket. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how slow Mary Kay Cabot is. She really thinks if she continues to stand on this pedestal, that this keeps her relevant. It sounds like a lick to me, Kev. Kev 1, job 0. Good job. She seems to think if she keeps talking about Shedeur Sanders this way, that it's going to make a difference and it's going to sway the fan base. It is not. It's actually working against her because diehard Cleveland fans who have been in Cleveland are now telling her to be quiet. See, it was one thing when it was us, the aunties and the uncles, and especially us that are not in Cleveland and have made it quite known that we're not here for the Browns. We're here for Shedeur Sanders. Now, I have confessed that as things are moving along very positively in Cleveland, I could be converted and actually become a Browns fan. I'm loving what they're doing. I am. It is what it is. But Mary Kay, and what's so cold about it is that when Shedeur made that statement, you took it as Shedeur putting y'all on Front Street when it was actually Shedeur letting you know this is his olive branch. Last year was last year, and we're going to let last year go. We just need to do something different coming into this year. And instead of you taking and accepting the olive branch, letting bygones be bygones and start with something new, you decided to get your thong all in a bunch. And now you're back on your foolishness. Well, you trying to pick a fight with somebody that you're not going to do because, first of all, Shedeur don't go back and forth with people. He say what he's saying. He move on to whatever it is he's going to do. And he doesn't have to because he has a general manager and he has a head coach that believes in him. They are going to protect him and they're going to take care of him. But they're doing that for everyone that is in a brown and orange uniform. So it's not just an isolated treatment. So don't take that from what I just said. But what you're not going to see that we saw last year, Coach Todd is not going to let you publicly assassinate his character and his chances to be good at what he's doing by creating an environment that is toxic and intrusive. Now, Kevin Stefanski is a messy girl, and that's what he does. But that's what narcissists do. They like chaos and pandemonium because it keeps everybody in such an uproar. You're not paying attention to what it is that they're doing. That's what Mary Kay is doing. Except, Mary Kay, you are now in Cleveland all by yourself. Kevin, girl, is not there with you, honey. You don't have your leak in the locker room. There is no one else there. It's just you. No one is talking to you, not even the other players. And Cleveland Browns alum are even coming out the woodwork and calling you out on your BS. So, girl, bye. Let me say it again in Spanish. Bueno, bye. You out here saying all kinds of stuff. And the thing of it is that she's not even saying a whole lot of stuff. She's repeating things. And repeating very small segment of things because you don't have anything to stand on. You're not talking about when you say Shedeur is not good. You keep saying he doesn't understand. He doesn't know how to read. See, if I tell you all Shedeur didn't have a good practice yesterday, I'm going to share with you Shedeur didn't have a good practice yesterday because his time release as well as what he's doing with his back foot when he's pivoting in the pocket is too time consuming. He's taking up too much time with that. He now has an O-line that's given him enough time instead of him doing what was habitual in college. We now need to work on the quick release, but the timed release. See, that's somebody that understands football. That's someone that's saying something that makes sense. Me coming on here saying Shedeur is just really not good. What you mean he's not good? He's not good in what? He's not good in what? Oh, I thought you said something. But somebody had the mitigated gall and the audacity to come on here and tell me I don't know boy. I don't know ball. Boy, bye. No disrespect will ever be tolerated. And I don't care if you don't like us. The internet uncles and aunties, we're not going anywhere. Whether you're talking about a Uncle Primetime Nation, Auntie Primetime Nation, Shedeur's Internet Aunties, see you aunties. It don't matter what group you're talking about. We're not going anywhere. We're here. And we're not going to let you do what you did to him last year. We're not. So, good luck with that. And then this is the most beautiful thing that I saw yesterday when Shedeur posted him unwrapping part 2 of all the gifts and stuff that he got. He has received the most inspirational gifts. People have sent him shirts and hats, books, wall art, desktop things. Oh, I'm finna get to that, Tammy. That are a constant reminder for him to stay focused in where he is mentally. Hold on to your faith. Continue to believe in yourself. And I think that is so cool. And not to mention, it's something he actually likes. He loves to read. He likes the affirmations and the positive declarations. And it is so cool that in almost all the gifts that he got, he either got a book or he got some art, or it was shirts with all kinds of positive stuff on it. The fact of the matter is that his internet family really pays attention to him. They really know what he likes, and the gifts he received, he was so ecstatic about it. I mean, he was so happy. Yes. And he loves the love that he receives, and he speaks to that. So, he also said to everybody that when stuff is sent to his P.O. box, he doesn't bring it straight home. It has to be proofed by the police. And I love that they even support him in doing that, making sure that he's safe and that, you know, people are not sending things to him that can hurt him without him knowing it. So if you send him something and you haven't seen it yet, he said on his YouTube video, there's more, but it has to be inspected and proved first before he brings it to the house. He said that the next video he's going to do, it's going to be sometime in May when he does it. Now, they released the practice schedule, so don't be looking. You know how he is about practice as well as his training camps. So he said May. It could be any time between May 1st and May 31st when he does it again. But I think it is so cool that he is letting everyone know that send him something. He's doing these openings in cycles, so that way people know that he is taking the time to go through them. And what's even cuter is if you send him something that is really personal, in terms of he wrote him a letter or the card has a really sentimental note in it from you, he saves all of those to read in the privacy of himself. I really love that. That lets us know he's really in tune with his fan base. And he doesn't call us his fan base. He says it loud and proud. This came from the family. So while you are out here saying all kind of foolishness, he's on film thanking and appreciating the family that supports him as his internet uncles and aunties and cousins. So there's that. That was very good. Oh, hold on right quick. Okay. So Shedeur Sanders has entered the chat. Do y'all remember that time in Colorado when that boy snatched that ball out of Shiloh's hand? And I'm gonna hurry up and curtail this because Shiloh just went live. See what I mean? When that boy, but I can wait a few minutes because it usually take a little bit for Shiloh to come on. And Bucky told him, y'all don't do nothing. That's what I'm here for. Because I don't want y'all to get in trouble and jeopardize what you got going on. Well, apparently, Shiloh is feeling like Bucky. Because Shiloh entered the chat and told Mary, go make a sandwich. He told Mary to go make a sandwich. Yes, he did. And folks tried to come for Shiloh in them comments, and the fans in those comments turned on them. First of all, you trolling Shedeur Sanders for free, and he gets paid to troll and stream? That's diabolical. You're a new kind of twit. You know that? You are a new kind of twit. Shiloh, let me tell you something. Shiloh and Bucky do not play about their baby brother. For the most part, none of them do. But Shiloh and Bucky will crash out behind Shedeur. Y'all better quit playing. Shedeur don't talk back and say nothing. Shiloh is the one that he will risk it all. Prime told us he is the child that keeps him on his knees. Which they're not telling jokes. They be telling the truth. So there's that. So let me get this blurb out right quick because I want to go over to the live because Shiloh is live and I'm certain everybody else does. I'm going to see Michael Jackson again tomorrow night. I'm going to see the movie again, but something I want to share with everyone that I'm very excited about, and I know the younger generation, they think that it's very rude. Yes, we did, Sharda. That a lot of his phone conversations and things about what he was doing professionally or whatever have come out. The first thing is I want to share this because the phone conversations that you are hearing between him and his best friend, Gabby, she did not record those conversations. Gabby's husband believed that Michael and Gabby were having an affair. He was trying to catch it. And what he caught was a bunch of tea between his wife and her best friend, who happens to be Michael Jackson. So there is that. Something I didn't know and I just learned is that Michael Jackson was on the cusp of purchasing Universal Studios as well as Marvel. Now I need you to wrap your mind around this because Universal is the parent company to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon is the playground of a lot of PDFs, and we have learned that a lot of the children's stars who worked at Nickelodeon are survivors or victims of the PDF behavior. Imagine the world's largest star owning all of the Sony catalog and about to purchase the largest entertainment studio that brings and broadcasts the largest catalog of children's programming in the world. That would mean he is the media conglomerate all by himself. This gives context to why he is no longer with us much clearer. I know people were saying that they did Bill Cosby the way he did because of NBC. I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that this, and it's the method in which they did it, and it's who they chose to use. Because the gentleman that they chose to do it, Michael Jackson has 4.5 billion fans. You really believe that someone could do something to him and somebody was not going to be upset about that? But the person that they chose, thank you, boo, the person that they chose and where they sent him gave him protection, because it really is beginning to look like a backroom deal. You're going to have to go down for this, but this is what we need to do. And you're the closest person to him that can make this happen. Because there's no way in hell that Michael Jackson owned the entire Sony catalog and was about to buy Universal Studios and Marvel Studios. And I want you to go Google what those studios hold underneath them. He was going to be a global conglomerate all by himself. And Michael's previous behavior leads me to believe and know he knew what they were doing to those children. He knew he couldn't just go public to take care of it. Michael moved very differently. You do something to him, he just destroys you. How does he do that? He owns you. Because if he owned those studios, those people would be gone. He would have control and say so over what they were doing to those children. Yes, I am 100% convinced. Michael Jackson did not leave us as a result of addiction. I do believe that psychologically he was hurting. He was in a place of loneliness, because to hold a space of that latitude and altitude, it is lonely. It is hard to trust people. You cannot have people around you all the time. And picking your friends and circle is a continuous task. So that I do believe. I do believe that he mourned and longed for the childhood that was taken from him. But it's a lot of us that are not superstars, and we feel the same way about our childhood too. So there's that. Two years ago, Cat Williams said that there was going to be a dawning, that there was going to be truth that was going to be revealed. And a lot of the things that we had been led to believe, we would finally find out the truth. And who knew that Michael's nephew would be the segue to open the door and finally put closure on a lot of things that we now know to be false and untrue. And this man gave his entire life for nothing more than to entertain and bring joy and safety to the people he loved and believed in. Let that sizzle in your spirit. So with that being said, love bugs, I'm going to hop off of here so I can take a few minutes to go and listen to the nephew Shiloh and hear about how he told Mary to go make a sandwich. As always, my loves, go do great things and protect your peace and your mental health.